All right, Greg, thank you for being here. We got some questions from the Facebook group, on the Pyxis Facebook group. Also some that I've thought of, what some others have thought of. We did this last year. Yep. Thanks for meeting again. We're here at the League of Filmmakers booth. They've invited us to come and have this conversation. So super grateful for them. It's really cool.
It's great to see you again. Yeah, it's 12 months since we spoke about Pyxis 12K, which is
pretty cool. Wild.
Yeah,
12 months already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so what just I guess right off the bat then, speaking of the Pyxis 12K, what are your thoughts on it now that it's been out, or been 12 months since it's been announced?
It's been really good. Yeah, really good. I mean, kind of maybe echoing what we spoke about last year. The principal idea when we brought the Pyxis camera to market was addressing the need for that cube style camera for people to rig and build out on. And then we'd obviously delivered that with the 6K sensor. We spoke 12 months ago about us having the design idea to put the 12K Ursa Cine sensor into a Pyxis camera. And from an engineering point of view, it seemed like that shouldn't happen. You've got this super powerful RGB based sensor at 12K resolution in the smallest cube camera that we make. But the partnership is fantastic, and it's been so really well received. You've got that brilliant combination of a camera that's super adaptable and flexible for what you want to shoot with, and the quality of the sensor and what that camera delivers really just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I love that. I've seen this year that the Gen 6 color has been teased.
Yeah,
and that's specifically made for the RGBW sensor. I've heard it could be going to older cameras as well, potentially. Do you mind speaking about what you know about the Gen 6 color science?
You know exactly that. We've got it on some of the cameras that we're showing here at the show, and then we'll push that out. And it is designed for us to look at what we can take from the RGB sensor. There's a lot more capability in that sensor. The way that we read out from it needed some adaptation into wide color gamut, and just push out the profile of some of that color for us in the pipeline. Gen 5 only went so far, and the Gen 5 color science has been with us for a long time as well anyway, so it was at a position where we knew we could optimize for the RGB, but it goes beyond that as well. So this isn't just an update that will come to the Ursa Cine cameras and the Pyxis 12K. You'll see it coming to other cinema cameras as well, because we've always committed to kind of keep driving image quality. You've committed and owned Blackmagic cameras, and we want to deliver back to all the people that invested as much as we can.
Yeah, that's really great. I've never seen a company support older generation cameras for as long as you guys have.
Yeah,
and it's just fantastic to see. I'm sure a lot of owners who are watching this are grateful as well. Any time frame? So you say it's already on it's coming out via a firmware update for the Ursa Cine 12K.
Yeah.
Is that out yet, or is it coming out still?
Not currently out.
Okay.
I never know with our website. Sometimes the guys put software updates so quickly. No, we're showing it here at the show, so you'll see it on the booth on the Ursa Cine cameras and on the Pyxis 12K. But we'll have that software build out, and the guys have to obviously get everything ready for the NAB show, make sure that we're show ready, we can show the best quality of it, and then once they get back, they'll pick up the work and we'll get it out as fast as we can.
And would that be a staggered release on different models, or would it be a push to all cameras? I don't know if that's something that you're aware of.
Yeah, I think you'll find that there'll be some of the older cameras may not have the processing capability to drive Gen 6 color science and what that actually delivers through. So at some point there will be a cutoff. We'll find out what that is as well from the engineering and the product team as to how far back and what cameras will be covered. And typically it's going to be usually a single software release. Okay. So there'll be a camera software update, and you'll have a list of the cameras that support it. We'll go from there.
And probably with those cameras that are getting Gen 6, to my understanding, it's that they'll have the option to toggle between, and excuse me if you already spoke to this, to toggle between Gen 5 and Gen 6. And that toggle would probably be available to later generations as well.
To my knowledge, yes.
Yeah.
It could change, so don't hold me to that. But yeah, to my knowledge, it would do that. And then what you have in Gen 6 is completely new LUTs that we've built as well for the profile outputs of those RGB sensors particularly. So be able to choose out through those, whether SDR or HDR outputs as well. So it creates a wider range of performance options from a image processing point of view in the camera or cameras, really for you to pick and choose through to get the best that you need for the job.
Yeah, and specifically for the job, that's why I love that toggle option. So if your setup, maybe they're not all on the same firmware, and one of them has Gen 5, you can put the others on Gen 5 and have that same color throughout.
Yeah, and it's not going too far to say as well, if you've got cameras and you just shoot legacy footage in Gen 5, we don't go too far with our color science that it would be unmatchable.
Okay.
So there's a natural nuance to the Blackmagic camera and the way that we style and look our visuals. We want to push that further with Gen 6, and we continue to create that. But obviously, if you've got older cameras or you've shot legacy content, you've got archive content or in projects, you'd still be able to bring those into Resolve and create perfect match or balance between them. It wouldn't be a jarring difference from one to the next. It's an evolution of it. It's a growth of the image quality, but it's not a complete sort of reset and go.
Okay. Right. I love that. Thank you. Let's see. I know a hot topic. Clearly, we have in beta right now for the 6K. The Pyxis 6K.
Yeah.
It has beta autofocus right now.
Yeah.
We've had it, on the 6K full frame. It's been great. From what I understand and what we talked about last year was that the 12K, the Pyxis 12K and the Ursa Cine 12K, from what I understand,
sure,
has that AI chip in it. And so it's capable of having AI, but just the RGBW sensor, that architecture is a little bit harder to create maybe AI. Am I saying AI? I mean autofocus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I don't know how long I've been saying AI.
It's on everyone's mind.
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone's thinking about AI. But autofocus.
Yeah.
It's got the AI chip. There we go.
There's an AI part to the processing.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you speak to the Pyxis 12K with the autofocus capabilities with that AI chip? Like what can people expect?
I think it's probably just to be honest about where we are right now with it. So as you say, we launched it for the Cinema Camera 6K, and the autofocus development that the engineers were working on, the product teams were working on, has been over a number of years. And we wanted to build in something that was fast and efficient, and it has an object and an AI process to it within it. We spoke about that, or you would have seen it when we announced it for the Cinema Camera 6K. That's the same sensor that's in the Pyxis 6K. So again, we're using families of technologies and evolving as we go. The current situation is the Pyxis 6K autofocus is in beta. Mm-hmm. We wanted to do a public beta rather than closed so that we could give it out to people to test and try. Be honest with your feedback in the forums and tell us, and does it work at the speed you need? Is it working with the lenses you want? And we take a look at that. Again, right now at NAB, that last release I think was about 3 weeks ago that got updated, and you'll see that get picked back up. I don't know where we are in terms of if there'll be another beta release or we'll just go straight to public at this point, but you'll see that evolve. And then again, my understanding is in through the summer months, something will happen where we'll update it. I'd like to think that's public, and then we know that it works at the level it wants. We'll always do after it. And then my understanding is, and what we've committed to was, once we've done the 6K sensor, we'll talk about what we do next. So by moving, if we do to the 12K sensor for Pyxis 12K and potentially for the Ursa Cine, it is a different architecture. So it's a different sensor. The PDAF is different, and the AI and the way that it works is different. So that's really then about what we can commit to. We're never really going to want to do an inferior product with it. I can't speak to what that would be in the future and how soon we can do it, but we have promised we'll give more advice about future camera support as and when we get to it, and we're getting closer to that.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you for that update and letting us know about autofocus and Gen 6 color and the Pyxis 12K and just the greatness that they've all been able to bring to the industry. I've got a lot of different questions, a lot of different okay, some really technical ones, some let's see. So currently we have L mount for the Pyxis.
Yeah.
Have there Kinfinity? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They have a product here at NAB. It's a box style camera. I know some people have been talking about it.
Sure.
They have, from what I understand, LPL and E mount. Not L mount though.
Okay. Right.
Has Blackmagic ever looked at other mounts, or can you speak to that?
Yeah. Well, we're part of the L Mount Alliance. So, and again, that's been part of something we've developed with the Pyxis camera system. And we've spoken about how that opens up a range of L mount lenses and what that means for us. It's a very adaptable lens mount option. It's got a fairly shallow flange distance, so we can adapt to it.
Shallower than E-mount, correct?
I think I think they might be approximately the same.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're very comparable. And obviously got RF in there as well as these large format lens systems. My understanding is we're open to the conversations, and from an engineering point of view, they're not my decisions and what we do. We've looked at it. I think if there's options and there's capability in there, we don't say no to any kind of lens option mount in there. Right now, we know with PL, EF, and L mount, we give a huge amount of possibilities.
Yes.
In the future, if there was an E mount or an RF mount and it offered something different and it gave customers choice, we're always open to that. I don't know the complexities of what that means in working with the owners of those particular mount systems and what they would want. But we don't ever say no.
Yes.
But I know certainly that we have conversations with other camera manufacturers because we work really close with their engineering teams on other technologies like Video Assist for Sony systems or DaVinci Resolve for codec. So we have those open dialogues all the time.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that information with us. Just, it's always nice to have a little bit of understanding of how the businesses work.
Yeah, sure.
From a consumer standpoint and whatnot. Can you just share some thoughts with us about NAB in general? Where do you see NAB show going in the future, like direction wise? And which year is this for you?
Wow, I've been with Blackmagic now 15 years.
15 years.
So take away the COVID gap, and I've done maybe 14, 13 NABs now.
Wow.
I love coming over here. Clearly, I'm from the UK, and we got a lot of shows that we do around Europe where we go out and we speak to users and customers and operators. NAB is great for us to come over. I mean, there's fewer Europeans currently. It's expensive to come over to the US, and business is down and production seems kind of steady. So in the past, we've had more Europeans come over. What's really great for me is to meet guys like yourself and understand how production and how things are what's the feel for production and filmmaking here that I can then take over to Europe and talk to customers about. And I love having that difference. And I think likewise, what I've seen with NAB over the years is the history of the way the show has evolved and changed. And I think that shows like with you guys and what you're doing here in the collective and all the work that you do. This isn't, NAB was traditionally a broadcast show, right? And Blackmagic is traditionally a high-end post and broadcast company. And I'd like to think that we still speak to those customers. A lot of what we've done at the show this year is different. Right? It's a lot about our 100 gig solutions and 2110. And these are foundational technologies that come from the top down. Whereas last year, maybe we were talking about access for Pyxis cameras from the bottom up. So sometimes we come with a different menu of products. But I think what's great for a show like NAB is you get the energy of young filmmakers. And this is something that's really key to Blackmagic. I've been in the industry over 25 years. It kind of shows with the grey hair. But I love and I work a lot in education and with training in Europe and across Middle East and Africa as well. Talking to young filmmakers, young professionals, guys like yourselves, and being able to sort of pass on that baton. And I think NAB should be as a culture part of everybody coming together. It's about the technologies, it's about what we do as manufacturers and where we're going. And what it also means for Blackmagic is the opportunity to listen, right? We listen to people that have been in the industry for 25, 30 years. They're like, you should be doing these things. And we listen to guys like yourselves that have been in it maybe fewer years. Yeah. Your voices are just as valid, but more important to some degree. And I love that. I like that when you go to shows as well in Europe, we have similar kind of mix. But I do love the energy and the attitude in North America and coming across and seeing what that means.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And hopefully you've been able to have some good food while you're here.
Yeah, too much, right?
Tacos El Gordo. It's quite a good place.
I've heard. Yeah, I've seen the queues.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And kind of with that and with trade shows and this, style of everything going on. I know you folks go to a number of shows throughout the year. Right. There's IBC in Amsterdam, which is probably really big for you guys. Yeah. In the UK. Can you speak to Blackmagic as a business with releasing cameras, with releasing firmware updates, with releasing different products and whatnot? Is that only strictly for NAB? Like, what can you tell us with IBC and other trade shows if throughout the year you guys release other things?
NAB still has a big part for us. It's a great show, right? And this is the show where we probably have the biggest booth. You'll find there's 100 Blackmagic people around on the booth. We're all geared around talking to customers, and we're all front facing and doing demos. Traditionally, NAB is a great launch point because it's a good time in the year as well as people are thinking about going into summer production and what the rest of the year looks like. So you tend to find, and we've done it this year, you get some big announcements. What you'll find then is maybe through the rest of the year specific to trade shows. So my US colleagues are going to be back here in Vegas for Infocomms shortly. So they'll be probably pushing and talking more about those infrastructure products and live AV production tools. We've got Cinegear in LA coming up as well. So, there'll be, if there's announcements to be made around cameras, that's always a great show because it's then principally talking to the key people that's going to be using those in production. IBC for us comes around in September in Amsterdam. That show for us is kind of our NAB in Europe. It comes from a background which is very broadcast orientated, but likewise now is all about creator content. It's about online and where the media industry is going. Kind of where we've just been. We've got shows like ISE, which is in Barcelona.
Oh, wow.
So that was traditionally an AV's company, integrated systems, ISE. But again, it's more about online and the evangelism of technologies across the internet, how they link to live production with an integrations point of view rather than broadcast. But it's a really great show because it's a mixing pot of people that just want to create cool content. And then scattered through the year, particularly in Europe, I work and we do lots of shows at small communities. So the BSC show in London was one recently for British cinematographers, and we'll do those camera-orientated ones as we go through the year as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. You guys are busy.
We want to get out and meet people, and I think particularly when we want to give the opportunity for people to try product. The cameras have to be looked at. You have to test them. You have to look through the viewfinder. You have to look at how you feel about the lensing and play around with it. You have to, you can watch. And I love the amount of, say, camera and Resolve training that's online. I love the amount of community sharing of tips and tricks. And I work a lot with trainers that have YouTube channels. But then also, it's great to stand next to somebody and go, show me that again. Or what if I did this instead? Or in my mind, I want to do a grade and I want it to look like this. We spend a lot of time. And I love it that our teams and our guys do that. And especially at shows like this where it's all new as well. So we've got people on the booth right now coming up and going, show me the photo page because I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
And to stand next to one of our Resolve guys and they can walk you through it. It's great. You can see it online, you can see it on video, you can download the beta and try it for yourself. But to ask the question directly and have we do a dialogue, that's what these shows are for.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the photos page, I downloaded the beta. I think I installed it, but I ended up having to do some other stuff, and I never ended up opening it and testing it out. Yeah. Because it was so recent. Obviously, there's been a lot of online talk about the photos page or photos. Photo page. And is that what is the goal for Blackmagic with that new page?
But it comes from a place where we've looked at incorporating some sort of photo processing tools in Resolve for a while. Do we do a standalone piece of software was one of the questions at some point where we could take what we do from a video and a filmmaker point of view into something new. And the truth was that wasn't needed. We've got a lot of technology and a ton of color science and a very strong platform with Resolve that would underpin the work that you want as a photographer. Or if a lot of people now are mixed skills, and I've worked with companies at a commercial level or in corporate, or even like wedding videographers who are shooting Blackmagic video and wanting to work with processing tools for the photography, or wanting to offer clients or productions photography and video, and that's a conversation that's happening globally all the time. So when we started to look at what that could be, the decision was made to put the photo tools in Resolve. It needed a new UI. It couldn't be something that just bloated out the edit page or sit in the grading page with a toggle. So the guys wanted to create a room. They wanted to create what we call a page in DaVinci Resolve. The UI was designed as well to be different. So when you do get to try it, and if guys out there have looked at it, you'll see that you've got the same media tools where you can bring in your photography now, your photos. We're supporting camera raws from Sony and from Fuji, with the Apple Pro RAW as well.
Even Sony, Sony as well.
Yeah, and this will be some more to come. So again,
Lumix maybe.
I'd hope so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And want to continue to do it. And in the same way, say on the video film side, we've always strove that if there's a new RAW program or a new camera system, you'll quickly find Resolve gets updated on the video side. You'll see that with the photo side as well.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, but then in the photo page itself, rather than having a timeline, you'll have an album. So guys that have used other photo processing software will recognize it. The UI should be familiar. Got a large viewer plane where you can see your photos, and then the inspector panel will have all of your tools and your controls for it. It's rudimentary, and it's a first version right now, so there's probably loads of things that we will add into it over time. But what it means for us is you can use Resolve and all of those grading tools. You can set up your albums. You can star and rate them. You can say good ones and bad ones and throw away the ones you don't want, and then take them over to the color page and start grading at a node-based level.
That's awesome. Is there plans to add like LUT support, or does that work? Like if somebody has a cube file, can they drop in their presets, their LUTs, and kind of slap them on, or how does that work?
Well, you'll find the grading page works exactly as it should to the color page. So take your photos across to the color page, and you can build your nodes. You can use your LUTs. You can principally, obviously there'll be camera differences. If you've got a LUT that you know and you like for your video work, you could rebuild that for photography and for the raw camera stills that you work and work with. And LUTs are designed to do that, so you transform between the two. That's a kind of technology that Resolve is superior at, and the reason why the photo page works being part of Resolve rather than being standalone, so you can integrate these elements. So if you've got a particular creative look, you might have let's say like a monochrome black and white and a style that you want in your mono work, and you do that in your video, you can recreate that to match against your photo work as well. And you can store master grades, and you can bring all those through. You can integrate photos to your video work, and it just needs to be as tightly knitted together as possible.
I love that, and thank you guys for bringing that to market. It's we all love it.
It's not, I didn't do it, but
as a company, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing with that, and you spoke to this earlier, how Blackmagic is so forward about listening to customers and seeing on forums and elsewhere, what people want. Is there currently a Blackmagic forum that people can go on for the photo page to add up, or requests and stuff? Is that currently on the forum that you know of?
No, it'll be part of the Resolve forum.
Okay.
So there might be threads on there that have been started for feedback on photo. If there hasn't been, I guess, if people wanted to, they can. Our product and our marketing and our engineering teams are active on the forum. You'll see them, you'll recognize the names, and they do listen. They take it in.
They do.
Yeah, and I know that every company will say that, but we can point at features and even products that have come from conversations. Grant is on our booth right now. It's one of his favorite times of the year where he gets to come on the booth and he leaves with a list of ideas, and we integrate those in. And then, particularly with software and the way that you've seen, I'd like to think that the editing tools are a good example, as well as the grading tools in DaVinci Resolve. That feedback grows and you see the features mature, and the tool set just gets bigger and better each year.
I love it. We've got a few more minutes. I just wanted to see, let's see if there's any of these. I know there's you're the director of, they call it MISAC, is that, or
Mayor, Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Oh, okay, that's correct. And under you, are there engineers, or is that, how does that layout work? I know there's some gentlemen at the booth who are product managers over the cameras, product managers over other things and whatnot, that might be able to answer these more technical questions a little bit more in depth. Obviously, we can't get into too specifics of certain future product updates and whatnot. But yeah, what can you say regarding like the different accessories that are currently offered for the Pyxis? Is there any? Again, we can't really talk about future stuff. As bad as I want to be like, hey, like what's next? Hey, I guess Blackmagic with the Pyxis, with the Ursa. I know. So currently the Ursa has the shoulder rig accessory option.
Yep.
There's a dovetail, I know, for the studio camera.
Yep.
again, can't really point to future products, but it has more accessories for the Pyxis, maybe like a dovetail option. Have more things been looked at? I know there's the Pro handle and the Pro grip, which might come out maybe later this year, sometime.
Yeah,
what can you speak to like the accessory aspect of the Pyxis? Because it's a very riggable camera.
Yeah.
And I know people have wanted like a dedicated side handle with a toggle record button that'll speak to the camera. What can you say?
Yeah, so I don't work on the engineering side. So the guys that you've met are principally out of our headquarters in Melbourne. We work really closely with them. So I'm one of the senior managers and directors out of the European office that looks after commercial and sales and marketing and gets involved with the communities and where we go with customers and supporting all of that side of things. We are closely linked, though. Obviously, we're a family in terms of what we look at internally. I think our approach, and to answer the questions about accessories with what we have on Pyxis, there's two parts to it. If we feel that we can add an accessory like the viewfinder systems where it's integrated and it adds value to how the camera can be adapted or take it into a new direction, you'll see those things coming. There are things internally that we've looked at that could create modular systems around Pyxis. Those things are possibly for the future right now, so I can't talk too far into that. But we're always looking to think about how can we use the camera as a platform. So what you've seen obviously with Pyxis is we've looked internally and gone from 6K to 12K. And for us, Pyxis is a product that wants to grow out a range and a family of technologies and accessories. So there will be things that come in the future that do that. I think the second part is we're always open to third parties. So, and I love this as well, and if this even started last year, there's a huge range of people that are much better skilled at building cages and rigs and mounting systems and accessories that go on to the cameras. And we don't feel pressures about that. We don't license that. We don't worry that somebody might be making, making money from it, and should Blackmagic be making that? We're not really interested in making rigs and gear and even like I made a dovetail plate, for example. Occasionally, like with the Ursa ones, we'll make ones because it's suitable as an accessory. But we work at a development level with those guys where we provide them CADs and we work with them in terms of what the design elements could be. And then, I won't list the manufacturers, that they're manifold, but the support they offer to us as a manufacturer is they create that riggability we talk about. We come out and say that Pyxis is the most riggable camera that Blackmagic's ever made. That's super reliant on some really great companies that then build the rigs. So we work hand in hand with them and we invite owners to go, you choose the system that works for you. I know the ones that I like to work with, and we show some of them and we demo them. There's just a great range out there. So I think it's more, rather than us dictating and owning that, it's about how we build it out, and that gives you a greater choice. So you can build the camera you want. Some people want really small, light, compact. Some people want to hang a load of gear off the side of it, or have radio and comm systems, or even like lensing systems or big map boxes. You choose what it works. What's important for us is you get that choice.
I love that. And yeah, the choices, the options, the opportunities to do all that. I'm going to save some of these questions for maybe a one-on-one with Christian or something at another time. Any closing thoughts or I know this has been pretty long. Thank you for your time and for all the information that you've shared with us. Last year we spoke a little bit about the Cinema Camera 6K. The Pyxis 6K had been announced. And then the 12K. Was there still a market for the Cinema Camera 6K, like that size body, or like a smaller mirrorless? I love the Pyxis 12K, and I got it because I shoot some stuff on my iPhone with the wonderful Blackmagic camera app. And I wanted something on kind of the more extreme end, right? 16 stops of dynamic range, the Pyxis 12K,
Right.
It shoots, all the different resolutions and whatnot. But over that time, over the past year, I felt like, oh man, sometimes I would really like a smaller camera.
Yeah.
or what kind of comes to your mind when you hear that?
I think there's still a value. We still offer the pocket cameras. I think what you find is that we go through rotation. Maybe there'll be another generation of pocket cameras to come, and they sit in that space. So maybe from the top down, we have the Ursa Cine camera, and that's a platform system for us. That's a camera that's designed for multi-people operation, high-end production. We have a 65mm Ursa Cine 17K, right? So that's very high end. Pyxis was an answer to the question, why don't Blackmagic make a box camera? And we knew we wanted to address that, but we wanted to get it right. So we bring that to market. And then say below where the pocket camera is, if it's kind of quite linear, is the camera app. And the camera app was designed principally as a way that we could teach people about our camera operating system, and the menus are all universal. It's a training tool. It's gone on to be an entirely large ecosystem of its own, where we've got multinational broadcasters using it for mobile journalism. We've got feature film directors making films with iPhone technology using Blackmagic software and collaborative workflows.
And the Pro Doc and
the Pro Doc comes along to go, you know what, if you want to work multicam, you need a professional Genlock system. So the product arrives at IBC last year and we introduce it, and I'm working with production companies in Europe that will be shooting with large scale iPhone systems with multiples of Pro Docs on the camera app. And then in that gap, we still, I feel, have operators and a need that want to work with a camera that feels good in hand. Where the Pyxis is something we spoke about, you want to rig it out, you want to build it the way you want to suit, and we could make hundreds of different versions of the Pyxis. There's still, I feel, people that want the camera in hand, and they just want the body, and they maybe want to shoot maybe what people call naked. It's camera with lens, and away we go. So I do feel there's a massive value, and the pocket camera has a strong following still. It's a fantastic camera system. It's maybe just been sort of been put in the shadows recently with Pyxis, with Ursa Cine and the camera. Maybe it's time for it to come back, or we look at it again. But I don't think it's a camera product that hasn't gone away. We didn't discontinue it when Pyxis came out because there's still a valid reason for the pockets to be there for us, and they're a great camera.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, Craig.
Great.
This has been awesome. We could sit here for hours. You'd probably lose your voice.
Oh, wow. It means we're not standing up on the booth. So
it's nice to sit down for sure. And we thank the League of Filmmakers for having us here.
Yeah,
and thank you again for your time and for this conversation. We'll see you guys.